Hello and welcome. I'm Vishnu Shom. I'm coming from the western Ukrainian city of Lviv. This is Lviv railway station today, and it is a city where there are tens of thousands of people slowly trickling again. We've seen this entire wave of people actually coming into Lviv over the last few days. Then there was a bit of a lull because people couldn't get into the city from other areas, for example Kharkiv. But today that situation is very different. We are seeing a wave of humanity over here. These are internally displaced people. Let's remember, for the last several days in our media, we've been focused on Indian nationals and the effort of trying to get them out of the Ukraine. But do spare a thought for the millions of Ukrainians who face the onslaught of a Russian invasion. Those Ukrainians who don't have any place to go. It's not as if there's a friendly air force to pick them up and take them back home. These are people who have traveled for more than 20 hours on a train, on the rare occasion that trains are working. It also comes on a day in which the Russian president has said that there is, in fact, a ceasefire for humanitarian corridors which would be open. But many of these people who are actually coming in over here have been coming in despite that. They started coming in even before those humanitarian corridors were opened up. And not one person here will believe for a moment that this ceasefire is a permanent ceasefire. It's not a permanent ceasefire at all. So you've got little children, you've got women, you've got men who've been evacuating. Remember, those who are men of a certain age cannot get out of this country. They're not allowed to get out of this country. So it's only children, women, the elderly, the infirm, they can leave. So those men coming here know that the prospect of them being set to fight for their country might arise. They may be called for active service. This is a reality which they actually have to deal with. As they come into Lviv today, they are going to soup kitchens. A lot of people, there's water which is available. They're finally getting a meal after many hours. There are buses which are organized. Some of these buses will be moving to the border, primarily with Poland, which is about 2 hours away. But think about it. Lviv is a city which itself is just about 2 odd hours away from the border with Poland. If there is an attack which takes place over here, then what happens to those who try and exit through this route? That's a big worry. But should an attack actually take place here, then it brings this crisis and the conflict in the Ukraine right to the borders with NATO, which could perhaps possibly be an even bigger crisis. Earlier today, I was actually speaking to a woman, and she didn't want to come on camera and be interviewed, who actually told me that she was in the Ukrainian city where there's this power plant which came under attack from Russian forces, and that she actually saw this. And I asked her, what did you do? And she said, look, I ran away. And then she didn't want to speak anymore, and so she went away. But, people over here with their suitcases, bags, whatever they could actually manage, getting out, coming to Lviv, and then trying to move further to areas where they feel safe. At the Lviv railway station in western Ukraine, Vishnu Shom for NDTV.